Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. Today, we're going to take a look at the short but pretty sweet discography from a cool extreme metal band. I guess you can call them extreme metal, industrial metal, progressive metal. Strapping Young Lad. Of course, this is the band that started off, founded by none other than Devin Townsend, back in the mid-90s. All right, they weren't around for that long, and they've produced 5 studio albums. Some better than others, some really good, some decent, right? Of course, Devin Townsend has had a very prolific solo career over the years. Kind of got started, most of us, I think, really started to recognize the talents of Devin Townsend when he played with Steve Vai way back when on the Sex and Religion album, but then of course he started doing some solo stuff and put together this little solo project which became a band called Strapping Young Lad. Of course, the rest of the band, once it went from being like a one-man project to an actual band, of course you have Devin Townsend on guitars and lead vocals and some keyboards and things. You have Gene Hoglan, of course, from Dark Angel on drums, Jed Simon on guitar, and Byron Stroud on bass. That would be the Strapping Young Lad band from start to finish. So we're going to start things off with my number 5, work our way to number 1. Feel free to rank these in the order you like them down in the comments below. So first off, I'm going to go with the first album from 1995, which is called Heavy as a Real Heavy Thing. So this is basically Devin and just Devin, right? Debut album. He plays almost all the instruments, all the vocals. Has a couple guests here, on guitar and keyboards and bass and vocals and things like that. But most folks just kind of do a little bit of this or that on a song or two. For the most part, it's all Devin. Although Jed Simon does play guitar on 1 or 2 tracks on here, he of course would join the regular Strapping Young Lad band shortly thereafter. All right, he would be their second guitarist or main guitarist. He did a lot of the solos, but he and Devin were a pretty good guitar team. The music on this album, very industrial. Lots of thrash bits, lots of electronic elements. You got the mix of clean vocals and Devin's brand of kind of like extreme metal or death metal screams and growls. His vocals, his extreme vocals, very maniacal, not quite a death metal growl like we know it, but his own kind of variation of that. And throughout all of these albums, you get a lot of both. In fact, for some people, his extreme vocals are like, off the wall, kind of crazy. They're not for everybody, not for the faint of heart, but he does mix it up quite a bit. I always kind of liked his extreme metal vocals. I think they're pretty different, pretty unique sounding. So on here, you've got the SYL, short for Strapping Young Lad. Really great track, leads it all off. Overall, this whole album is very kind of cosmic sounding. It's got like a sci-fi feel, as does a lot of these albums and many of these songs. In the Rainy Season, another good track, you got Goat, which is massive, got these big, huge death metal riffs. You got the weird Cod Metal King. You got Happy Camper, which again has those maniacal Devin Townsend vocals. You got the Brutal Critic. Skin Me is also a pretty brutal track. Overall, it's 9 tracks on here. Drizzle Hell is another one. It's just crazy song. Most of this album is really weird. It's kind of disjointed. Not an easy listen. I find there's a lot of ideas kind of coming at you from every angle on here, whereas I find most of the other albums more kind of song-based, and I think he's still kind of finding his way on here, right? And I think once he actually forms a band, you've got a lot of ideas coming together then. So this has some good stuff on it. There's really good moments. There's other moments that I'm not as crazy into. So this one is my least favorite. Not even close. This was, when I was putting the rest of the list together, which not that easy, I knew this was going to go in at number 5. So yeah, Heavy as a Really Heavy Thing, the debut, is my number 5. Next up, we're going to go to the 5th and final album from 2006, The New Black. Kind of interesting cover art there, right? It's kind of minimalistic, lots of white. Still pretty extreme. Although, there's some kind of catchier moments on this particular album. Same lineup as all the other albums. You got some guest stars on here as well on vocals and things here and there, but some really good tracks on here. Decimator really rocks. You Suck is crazy maniacal. Anti-Product, loaded with big fat riffs, lots of groove. They also, when you kind of look up this band, and of course you go online and you look up any music album or band, it's always got to give you like a classification. They usually list Strapping Young Lad as like extreme metal, industrial metal, death metal, thrash metal, and groove metal. Like I've always said, what the hell is groove metal? I guess that's kind of like that Pantera thing, Lamb of God, that sort of thing. Maybe a little bit of Meshuggah. You get that quite a bit on this particular album. Anti-Product has loads of those big fat bottom bass and drum grooves, right? And then the big down-tuned riffs and whatnot. But good stuff, good stuff. What else we got on here? Monument has clean and growling vocals. Really worked to perfection on that. Big heavy riffs. You got the catchy Wrong Side, which is also just absolutely relentless. Hope is wild and weird, kind of death metal-y. You got Far Beyond Metal, that pretty kick-ass tune. You got Odorous Orungus from Gwar, may he rest in peace, on that particular track. You got Fucker, which figures Biff naked on guest vocals, another really good song. Almost Again is really relentless, blazing thrash, death metal type of a track. The New Black, the title track, has these big, heavy, grinding riffs. Really like it. Some really great songs on here. Some are kind of average, but overall a really very, very solid final album for Strapping Young Lads. Like sometimes we talk about like those great final albums of bands, and I think this is a very, very strong contender as one. So a band going out, doing it their own way, and they just kind of fade off into the sunset. Devin starts a full-time solo career, and that was that. But yeah, really good one. The New Black coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, yeah, here's where it gets tough. My top 3 are all, in my opinion, really, really strong. But I decided to go with the self-titled Strapping Young Lad, or SYL, as some people call it, from 2003, third album. Same lineup. Much more of a thrash death metal album here through and through, with, like I said, lots of groove. You got Consequence, some killer riffs, and some absolutely maniacal Devin Townsend vocals. Relentless is exactly just that. Completely relentless, start to finish. Just crazy tune, blasting, thrashing, just nuts. You got Gene Hoglan bashing away. Bombs away, bombs away. The vocals are so great. And you got Hoagland just crazy bashing on the drums behind Devin. Just, man, great song. You got Rape Song, which has these really just absolutely crushing riffs. Aftermath, again, has that tremendous bottom end. The grooves are just never ending on this album. Force Fed is another killer tune. Then you got Bring on the Young, which is very doomy. Kind of different for this band, right? I don't know. I think start to finish, really, really strong album. Strapping Young Lad, 2003. Really great album. I like this one a lot. All right, the top 2. My number 2 probably is going to be the number 1 for many people. The second album, called City, from 1997. All right, this is just manic, industrial, sci-fi theme, extreme metal. One of the highlights of Devin Townsend's career, and certainly with this band for sure. Like I said, I think most people might rank this one as their best and the highlight of the catalog. I really wouldn't argue that. I had a hard time between my top 3. I was like, all right, All Hail the New Flesh is terrific. Oh My Fucking God just crushes with, again, those just crazy off-the-wall maniacal Devin Townsend vocals. Just, you think like Mike Patton can get maniacal. Man, gotta listen to Mr. Townsend when he gets going. I tell you, it's crazy. You got the great song Detox. You got AAA, which has those deep, heavy grooves. Underneath the Waves has some massive riffs, and then just all this like weirdness coming from every angle. Just really intense. Room 429 is a little more straightforward of a metal track. And then you got Spirituality, which is just absolutely monstrous. The riffs are just enormous. Like I said, really great album. Many will cite this as the absolute pinnacle of Strapping Young Lad. I wouldn't argue that too much. But my number 1. My number 1 is my number 1 because I think it's the album that really turned me on to Strapping Young Lad, where it finally all clicked for me. I was trying to get into them earlier on. It just wasn't really happening. And I think right around this time is where I'm finally starting to get a lot of extreme metal anyway, right? So we're going to go with the fourth album, Alien, from 2005. Love the production on this album. It just sounds absolutely immense. It's quite extreme, quite lively. You got Imperial, which just absolutely cranks. You got, it's like this kind of weird sci-fi death metal thing, just really intense. You got Skeksis, is manic prog metal, not unlike Meshuggah. I think that's another reason why I like this album so much, because it's got a lot of those Meshuggah things going on here. The polyrhythms and the kind of stop-start rhythms, and the down-tune, crazy, complex riffing and all that kind of stuff. What else? And Devin is just screaming up a storm throughout this whole album. But yet his clean vocals are really good too. You got the maniacal Shitstorm, which has some punishing drums from Gene Hoglan. You got Love, big groove-laden thumping metal. It's also kind of catchy. You got Shine, excellent, heavy and weird. You got the blazing fast We Ride. Possessions has some really interesting vocal layers, including female vocals and synths. A lot of stuff going on in this album. 2 weeks, lovely acoustic guitars and keyboards, clean vocals. Really nice change of pace on there. Thalamus is just soaring prog rock, and I think a precursor to a lot of what he would do going forward in his solo career. You got Zen, which is just frantic, crushing. It's like cyber thrash industrial death metal, this album. I don't really know what else to call it, because to me, Strapping Young Lad has always been so kind of problematic when it comes to applying tags and comparisons and things too. So there you have it. I'm going to go with Alien number 1, City number 2, Strapping Young Lad number 3, The New Black number 4, and Heavy Is a Really Heavy Thing as number 5. Again, your mileage may vary. You may, like I said, I know there are going to be people who will be loyal to the first album. I know for sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to go for City as one of their favorites, and that's cool, because really they all have a lot to like. For me, the first album just is not. It's not quite developed yet. It's a little too kind of like all over the place, but otherwise, great stuff here. So there you have it. That's my ranking for Strapping Young Lad. Rank them as you like them in the comments below, and visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Stay tuned tonight. We've got the Hudson Valley Squares coming up. Another 1982 album war happening. We've got Manowar going up against Raven, so that is happening tonight, so stay tuned for that. We've got tomorrow in the Prague Seat, Wednesday, What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, new album review day. We've got Thursday, The Monsters Den, Friday morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff, Saturday, the UK Connection with Simon Bray and Stephen Reed, and album homework assignment on Sunday with Stephen Reed and Neve the Prog Nerd coming up this week. So all that and more here on the channel. Also stay tuned. We got ranking the albums of Zephyr coming up also this week. So lots happening, so you don't want to miss anything. So please hit that subscribe button, click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content. And we also have below the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as the link to our merch page for all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility stuff. So thanks for watching. I am Pete Pardo. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you here real soon, because we are here all together all the damn time. Take care. Bye-bye.